Hello boys and girls. Today we are going to go through and take a package of whole chicken wings and turn it into a fabulous hero meal that you can take to any sort of game day event, tailgating party, potluck, or anything like that. So to get started here, we started off with 2 packs of chicken wings. These are the whole wings. We'll have to take these apart into their individual sections. We'll talk about that in a second. In addition to the wings, you got to go with Frank's Red Hot Original Cayenne Pepper Sauce. This is really the secret ingredient to any true buffalo wing. We'll also need a stick of butter. Everything's better with butter. And the final ingredient is white flour. In addition to that, we're going to need some frying oil, and we'll talk about that when we get to there. Setting these guys aside on the equipment, we're going to need some type of pot to fry them in. We're going to do some deep frying here, so anything like this will work. We'll also need some type of candy thermometer that goes up to 350 degrees. Takes all the guesswork out of how hot to get the oil so you don't burn them or undercook them. And the final thing we'll need is a 1-gallon Ziploc bag to shake them up. Alright, so get your wings and let's get rolling. Alright, here we are. Got our wings. I rinsed them off under cold water, put them in a bowl. As I talked about before, we're dealing with a whole chicken wing here. And your 2 options basically are you can cook it up caveman style just like this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. They're great. Or if you think your guests aren't going to want all the appendages of the chicken hanging out, what you're going to want to do is section that up. So you'll notice that the wing has 3 different parts. It's got the drumstick part here. The middle part with the 2 bones is called a wingette, and then the little tip here that's really not of much good. So we're going to go ahead and cut that apart. We've got a regular kitchen knife here, and to take the wing tip off, you notice if you hold it down and you run your finger across the top, you'll feel a little joint in there. And what you're going to want to do is take your knife and run it straight down into that joint, and then you put the knife underneath and you get a good grip, and it'll slide right through and the tip comes off. That goes in the trash. And then to separate these 2 pieces, you'll see there's this little piece of skin here. You're going to cut all the way down there and then just break it over backwards, and kind of the same thing again. Put your knife underneath and it'll slide right through. So then you have your drumstick meaty part, and then you have the wingette part, and this is what most people recognize when they're ordering wings. So we're going to go ahead and go through this whole pile here. We got about 2 dozen of them. We're going to section them off, put them on our tray, and then we'll get ready to cook them up. Alright, here we got our wings all cut up and ready to roll. I rinsed them off a second time, and you want to pat them dry. You'll never get them perfectly dry, but you don't want too much moisture going into this next step. So then what we're going to do is open our bag and put in maybe about 2 heaping spoonfuls of flour. That's really not a precision step here. And then I'm going to throw in about 10 wings. Close the bag up. And we got plenty of flour in there, so we can throw in a few more. Just want to leave yourself plenty of room so you can shake the bag up. We're just looking for a light dusting on those guys there. So we're going to go ahead and prep all the wings like that, and then we'll go back to the stove and get the oil fired up and get ready to fry them up. Here we are ready to fry. We have our wings that were lightly breaded in flour. We have some vegetable oil up to about 350 degrees. This took a whole 48-ounce bottle. And when you're done, a little tip is you just run that through a filter, like a coffee filter that's in a funnel, and you can strain all the chunks out and use it again. I got another pan back here for my sauce, and then I got a little roaster pan with a paper towel on the bottom for when I'm done. So to scoop them out of the oil, I'm going to use some sort of slotted spoon, and to get them in, I'm going to use a set of tongs. Before we start the frying, we're going to get our sauce going. So the first thing we're going to do is put a whole stick of butter in our pan there. And then we'll follow that up with 1 cup of red hot sauce, Frank's. And we're just warming this up, we're not cooking it or anything. So I'll put the rear burner on low and we'll just let that cook as we start to fry. You don't want to crowd the pot. I'll just put in about 10 of them and then we'll let them go. We're going to let those fry for about 8 to 10 minutes till they float to the top and look brown. During the process, we're going to stir them around a little bit so they don't stick to each other or to the bottom. As they're frying, you just want to mix them up just a little bit. Again, don't want them to stick. And then also keep an eye on your temperature here. You want to keep it close to 350 degrees as possible. So when you add the chicken, you're going to want to turn your burner up to high and then keep an eye on that thermometer. It'll drop to about 300, not a big deal, but you just want to bring that back up as quickly as you can. If you put the chicken in when the oil is too low, it'll absorb a lot of the oil and it won't really cook. So just keep an eye on that and make sure you don't put it in much under about 350. All right, we're right at the 10-minute mark. And if we take a look, our wings are nice golden brown, so we're going to transfer them from the oil to our roaster. Notice in the background our sauce here, the butter's just melting. You're not going to cook that. You just want to heat it up so that they melt together. And I also preheated my oven to the lowest temperature I could get, which is 170. I'm going to put this roaster in the oven to keep the wings warm while I'm cooking the rest of the batches. Put the lid on, and we'll slide that in the oven. And we'll run our next set of wings through. And we'll keep repeating the process here until we have all of our wings fried and in the oven, and then we'll be ready for the last step, which is dipping in the sauce. All right, here we are. We have our wings all fried up. We have our sauce done. It's the butter and Frank's Red Hot. And we're getting ready to plate these guys up. If you don't like the sauce, you can go ahead and go plain, but obviously Frank's is going to be the best way to go. You're going to want to make sure you plate these up nice. Any sort of hero meal, really the presentation is key. Anytime a guy pulls out parsley, people are bound to be impressed. So we found a little bit of parsley. We have the obligatory carrots and celery sticks and some blue cheese dressing there. So we're going to take a clean set of tongs and we're going to take these guys out, dip them in the sauce, get them nice and coated, and slap them on the plate. The sauce is really the key here. It's one of the things that's going to set these apart from average wings. You can see keeping them in the oven kept them nice and hot, so when we go to serve them they're going to be piping hot. There we go. Like with any hero recipe, this is really designed to be a total crowd pleaser. Only 4 ingredients went into here, yet it tastes like $1,000,000, so this is one of the specialties. And there we go. Who wouldn't be proud to serve that at their party?